Just a friendly reminder that the opinions expressed on this show are not worth a Canadian penny, so disregard anything you hear that might get anyone in trouble. And despite some of the great ideas you may hear, don't try them at home. Go to a friend's house instead.
It's time to get a gun. That's what I've been thinking. Well, I could afford one. And if I did just a little less drinking, time to put something between me and the sun. When the talking is over, it's time to get a gun.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Slamfire Radio, episode 349 for April 9th, 2020. I'm one of your hosts, Adriel.
I'm another one, Trevor.
And I'm another one, Kelly. Hi! Hi!
Look at that. We're all here. We got this whole, what's that old show where they got all the people's heads looked down from the corners?
Brady Bunch.
Brady Bunch. Yeah. Sorry.
Did you see the meme I sent to you guys about, who is it? Alice, she couldn't get her recording right. She was always muted. That's me. In the middle. Muted. I thought it was funny.
In the middle with you.
Apparently it's not. Okay, never mind.
Moving on.
It could have been hilarious. We would have stayed quiet anyway to make it awkward for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And we did a great job. That worked out perfect.
Yeah, it worked great. Thank you. I appreciate it, by the way.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Help.
I know how much.
Did you miss me on the last one?
You weren't on the last one?
Yeah.
No,
No,
remember
I
I showed up like when you guys were saying goodbye. I did listen to the show. It was a pretty good show. Oh, thanks a lot. You didn't notice I was there.
You're welcome.
Or not there.
Trevor, that was the one where you and I were just awkwardly just BSing about stuff and going all over the place. That one.
I beg to differ.
You beg
It
to
wasn't
differ.
awkward.
Oh, okay. Yes. Well.
Everything else you said was correct. Wasn't awkward.
Okay.
Was
Right.
fairly good, actually. Got better when Kelly showed up, though.
Oh, that was at the end when we said goodbye.
Yep.
Oh, I missed you guys.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I'm here tonight. We're having another family call, but I opted out to be here tonight.
You had to work that in.
Yep.
You couldn't just do it. You had to let the whole world know that you chose us over your family because you're so selfless. La la la. You're just a martyr.
I could be.
I can
eating
hang
supper
up
with
now.
Whatever.
Oh, they'll be there when I get off the call. So
we decided we were going to do our next microcast on Saturday because Sunday is Zombie Jesus Day. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay.
Later on Saturday.
Later.
Yeah. No,
Not our usual?
regular time. Regular time will be fine.
Regular time. Okay.
Yeah. Neat. Well, what we did events this week is brought to you by the Calgary Shooting Center, Canada's premier firearms retailer. Right now, you have the Mossberg Retrograde 500 Persuader for $620.
I got to tell you, I love this gun. I love this gun a lot. You guys remember that I last year, the year before, I took a vintage Wingmaster that was beat to crap. I took two vintage Wingmasters and restored them, but both restored them differently. I made one look like a fancy pants, high gloss finish, mirror finish, upland hunting gun. Okay. And then I made the other one look like a vintage 870 police gun. Well, that 870 police gun has an 18 or 18 and a half inch barrel. It's got the 5 capacity magazine, and it's got that wood finish. It's got a wood stock and a wood pump and stuff. Yep. Well, this Mossberg that the Calgary Shooting Center has is like the equivalent to the 870 police from the 70s.
Oh, nice.
That's why it's got that cool name. It's got that cool retro look.
Yeah, it does have a nice look.
You can hunt with it. You can shoot manual division and 3-gun with it. If you like wood and you like that classic look of a police style shotgun, a little bit of a shorter barrel, but still wood, you know what I mean?
Yep. Nice.
Check it out. And it's well priced too.
Yep. $629. Alrighty.
Trevor, what have you been up to in guns this week?
Well, just before the show tonight, I went to load up some dummy rounds as per our main topic. So, literally, I was downstairs at 10 to showtime making up some dummy rounds. Other than that, I did finished up my 45 loading. I almost finished my 9mm loading. I probably at this point have enough brass processed. Oh, I definitely do because I've got a container of brass that I took it. It was cleaned. I resized it on the 650 in my undersized die, and then put it into the stainless steel media tumbler to wet tumble it because it had lube on it, and now the primers are out. The primer pocket's taken out. So I did a bazillion pieces of that, and then started loading up 9mm. I got more brass prep than I have bullets left, so that's good. So I'm going to finish that up. I'm going to switch the press over to 308 to size some cases for my godson. He gave me a bunch of pieces of brass last time I saw him, and it was kind of a mixed bag. But I've whatever he had, let's say he had 200 cases, I took all of his mixed stuff and threw it in another pile, and I replaced it with all Federal. Not like it was all fire formed in his chamber, so it doesn't matter. And now he's working with all Federal gold medal match brass. Today I picked up his bullets for him. Now we just got to get him some powder and some primers. Apparently Varget is like back to hen's teeth. Can't find it anywhere in the country. Colin bought like...
I don't know when it happened, but I noticed that powder is very expensive.
Yeah,
very expensive.
It's been creeping up the last couple of years. Like some powders are routinely $50 a pound now.
Yeah, I was looking at Cabela's. It's like $50, $55 a pound. I was like, oh my god, what the?
Yep.
I was like, yeah, maybe I'll buy a pound or two. Maybe 1 pound.
I did really good. Mm-hmm. Filthy Squires hooked me up with probably 7 pounds left in an 8-pound keg of Varget.
Oh, that is very good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So. That's not good, man.
That's not good.
Mag's not dropping free. I wonder. Got to be the grips. What else did I do? I did stuff. I did things. I sold a schwack of guns. Like, I mean, a schwack.
Did you?
Oh, I've sold 8 or 9 guns.
Oh, that is a schwack.
I've gutted my Enfield collection. I'm down to 1 Enfield. I kept my Long Branch. That's it. Really? All the others are gone. The number 1, the Savage number 4, the Jungle. Some douche. Hope he doesn't listen because I just called him a douche. But anyway, if the bore is good, I'll take it. Well, define good. The rifle was made in 1945. Like, what's your definition of good for a 1945 rifle? So nothing. I sent him that. I heard nothing for days. Then I sent him another PM and said, would you like some photos of the bore? So I did my best to take some photos of the bore. He said, good enough, I'll take it. All right. So send me a photo of your PAL and your address. It's all packed, ready to go. When the payment comes in and the PAL, he didn't send me a photo of his PAL. He just sent me the number. Why is it, and this question is for both of you, why is it people don't want to show you a photograph of their PAL? If you and I were in person and we were doing this exchange at a gun shop or a parking lot, I would say, let me see your PAL, and you would show it to me. You would not write down the number and just flash the number at me. I would walk. So why then do you have an issue with showing me a photo of it? I explained to the guy, the Canadian Firearms Center is closed right now, so I can't call with your number and verify that your license is valid. So I need to actually see the card, please. And crickets.
Nothing.
So I don't know.
Ignore him. Flake buyer.
Yeah, it might be a flake buyer. And so, Adriel, if he's a flake buyer, okay, so 2 questions. I want you guys to tell me why you think people don't want to show your PAL. But the next question is he earning a negative rating for saying I'll take it and then backing out of the deal by not showing me his license?
Yeah, because legally...
Kelly says yes?
Yeah. Because
in terms of what? Leave a negative rating?
Does he deserve a negative rating for saying I'll take it and then not...
You would have to give him a reasonable amount of time to get that photo to you. But if he says no, then yes, give him a negative rating. Say this dumb shit doesn't know how to buy a gun online according to how it's legally done. And I'll leave a negative rating for that. But you have to leave enough time. Like, he has to have time.
Yes, okay.
Maybe he's old. Maybe he doesn't know how to use his phone to take a picture of his PAL. And
let's be reasonable, yeah.
But that's not why he's not sending it to you.
Well, yeah, we could speculate all day, but time will tell, right?
It's because he has privacy concerns about putting a government
Let's come
ID
back to those
online.
privacy concerns. Are they valid?
No.
I don't understand. No?
No.
Yeah, Kelly? No. Okay. It's like when you see a picture of a gun online, somebody's blacked out the serial number. Why?
I used to.
Why?
I didn't know what the repercussions were. So it was because I was uneducated on it.
Right. It's like when I see a photo of a vehicle, somebody's like, "Oh, I took a picture of this douchebag in the parking lot today at Tim Hortons," and they blacked out the guy's license plate. We drive by each other's license plates all day. They're not blacked out. Who cares if they're not blacked out online? Like, I don't understand, people. There is no privacy anymore. Google anyone's name, you'll get their name and telephone number and where they live. Like,
well, and the other thing that's cool about a firearms purchase, it's not like some random guy is asking to get like a picture of your driver's license or something like
exactly.
that. It is, you're selling to another person who has been background checked and another person who also has a PAL. So the entire transaction it's not secure, but it's like you're dealing with two people who have been licensed and vetted and have the same thing.
Well, you're trying to ensure he's been licensed and vetted.
Yeah,
he is, if you actually get a copy of his PAL. So you're saying to him,
a PAL. Maybe that's the other thing.
I'm not selling you shit if you're not going to prove that you are. No.
So
what are you going to do with that right now?
With that number, nothing, right? Nothing.
Exactly. Like so you say, I need a picture of it.
Yep. And all the other guns I sold, no problem. I got pictures, no problem, no hesitation whatsoever. Mm-hmm. 6 months ago, I would have said simply send me the number so I can call and verify it, but not now. So, I bought some upper parts. I think we talked about this before. My Modern Sporter, my SLR are both set up with 18.6-inch barrels. My STI AR-15 was my original 3-gun rifle. And since my SLR is the lightest of my AR-esque platforms, I have no need for my 3-gun AR, especially since of the Modern Sporter and the SLR, it was the heaviest of them all. But it had the best trigger. Better than any guys we ever bought. It came with a JP Industries trigger. So there's my STI AR. And here's the handguard. Did I show this handguard on the show when it was red?
No.
Yes.
Okay, so
yes,
I did.
Yes.
Did
and
you?
You're like, who makes a red handguard? Yeah, and you got it for a deal, I think.
Well, it was.
I know you talked about it. I don't remember seeing it though.
I think Kelly, could you have been not on? Maybe.
Yeah.
So it was. I mean, compared to a Maple Ridge is 300 and change. This was under 200. And Denis Cerakoted it for me and just did a beautiful job.
Looks good.
Kelly, the finish on it, it looks nicer than the anodizing on the AR.
Good job, Denis.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And it's nice, lightweight. Shout out to Ben. He found a 16-inch Maple Ridge barrel on CGN. Remember, I keep telling you guys that all Ben does all day, every day, is send
us. I hope his boss doesn't listen to this.
I doubt it. I doubt it. But if his boss is listening, you better hang on to that boy. He's very resourceful and essential. So anyway, I don't even think I give him credit for buying that barrel until like yesterday or this morning or something. I bought so many things that he recommended that I just lost track. So anyway, all the parts came in from TNA. The handguard came in and then got Cerakoted. All the while, I'm still waiting for the barrel, which is coming from Alberta. I checked the tracking number, and it was in Montreal like yesterday. So it usually goes Montreal, then Dieppe, then Kamloops.
It'll be another fortnight before the dog sleds make it into
probably.
Yeah.
So
you still have snow.
What's that?
We still have snow here.
Do you still have snow?
Well, we don't get on our range until the last weekend of May, first couple of days of June. Like that's Northern New Brunswick, perfect course.
Okay.
We had Nipsic, New Brunswick executive meeting. And it was kind of important. We were going to talk about our new team selection criteria for 2021. We were going to talk about schedule, who's holding matches and when, and we were going to talk about, I don't know, whatever else. But anyway, the decision from the executive was that as long as the New Brunswick emergency measures are in place, we will not be sanctioning any events. So no sanctioned matches, no courses, no black badge courses, nothing. So everything's on hold. We're going to refund people their money, and then if when things come to an end, if an instructor wants to, normally we stop black badge end of June. shooting season's here. We all want to go shooting. You got to get your black badge in before June. Then you can take it again in the fall. And where we get between 8 and 10 black badges a year that way, which is crazy for such a small section. But we got instructors that like to teach. So what are you going to do? Let them teach. So this year, when we come out of the Emergency Measures Act, if instructors want to put on courses, well, go for it. Doesn't matter. Things are different this time. Mm-hmm. And then I went to the shop today and I picked up some Hornady 223. They call it training ammo. It's steel case, but it's 75 grain boat tail hollow point or 55 grain boat tail hollow point. It's good Hornady ammo, just in a steel case. The packaging is very simple, right? It's not fancy at all. And what else did I buy? I bought a box of Hornady 75 grain boat tail hollow points to load for my Howa Mini action. And then I bought 200 more Hornady ELDX 178 grain bullets to load in the old Stag 10 because it loves them.
178?
178 ELDX. So it's a match grade hunting bullet. Oh yeah, like whenever I schmack it, I wanted to know it was schmacked. Like I had no problem shooting a deer with that. A moose with that 178 out of 308.
That'll do it. Yep.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's it for me. Adriel, what's about you?
Let's see. I'm just scrolling back up here. I bought some AR-10 mags from Denis.
Oh.
Yep. Yeah, got a couple of those. They're on the dog sled from New Brunswick, so they'll be here in a fortnight or so.
I was going to ask, did they get there yet?
No.
Mine only took 4 days.
Well, you're a little bit closer. There's some
I know.
Rough roads in between here and there, and a couple thousand kilometers as well.
This is true.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
The whole country.
Yeah, a little bit slow, but I'm not in a hurry right now. Let's see. I did get 2,000 rounds of CCI Standard Velocity in. I had bought from Mag Dump when they were 7 cents a round. Not going to see that deal again for a while. And I had been planning on meeting up with the guy because their company's here in Edmonton, but it's been a couple weeks, and he's like, I'm just going to ship these. So I got some of that in. And then I prepped a bunch of 6.5 Creedmoor, about 180 cases. I tested the different lubes I had around the house and non-lubes I had around the house. And Trevor,
what was the best?
The bar of soap. The bar of soap. Yeah, totally the way to go. Because it makes a little groove in there. So you just take your case and just give it a little spin on there. Away you go.
No one is going to waste money on Hornady One Shot ever again. And when you wash the lube off, you clean the brass.
Yeah.
Yes.
I washed my cases afterwards, and it's it's nice and clean now. This is the cleanest cases I've ever reloaded.
Right, Reloading Hack 38.
So I did end up washing them afterwards, and then hand scrubbing, not scrubbing, but wiping each one with a rag because that soap residue sticks on there pretty good. You do need to wipe it. I ran some hot water, but it wasn't enough to get it off, so I just wiped them off. And now they're all super clean. And then I tried leaving them on the register to dry out, to get some air over them to dry them out, but they're still a little bit wet, so I put them in the oven at 180 Fahrenheit. Not super hot. Not enough to do any damage to the brass.
You ever thought about using a baking rack with the smaller wire?
What you put your cookies on to cool?
Mm-hmm.
I guess. I just put it in a pan, like a cake pan, and if I line the inside with tin foil so I wouldn't leave any carbon on my wife's nice baking ware. So
no, I was just wondering if you ever thought about doing that so you don't have to actually put them in the oven. You can just let them, air dry.
Yeah. I wanted them dry just in case I got really ambitious and I started priming and making ammo that night. I didn't. I played video games instead. What else did I do? I gauged them to see which ones didn't need to be trimmed because I want to just be lazy and make ammo. And I don't have enough powder or bullets to make a lot, so I got a whole bunch.
Right.
You think I should just trim them all? I gauged them. I just checked them with the old dial calipers, make sure that they're in spec. Good enough.
Trim them all to the same length. Do it.
Nope. I'm not gonna uniform the primer pockets either, and I'm not gonna uniform the flash holes.
That I understand. Kinda. Still not acceptable. Are you using a bullet with a Kindler?
Some of them. Yeah.
Then trim them.
I'll just
trim them so you can crimp them all the same in the Kindler.
I'll find the ones that are like around the same length, and I'll just use a Kindler.
Yeah.
I don't have enough bullets to do like I'm not doing like 200 rounds. I'm probably gonna do like 50, maybe.
Oh, well, those are rookie numbers. You got to bump those numbers up.
Yeah, he doesn't have enough powder.
I need more powder and more bullets.
And he doesn't have enough.
See, Kelly, remember how he's always bragging about not being a prepper? I was ready for this. I loaded for days.
Well, I got a month of 223 and 9mm. That's not my exotic soy boy calibers like 6.5 Creedmoor.
Soy boy calibers.
Let's see here. I cleaned we had a couple of maple seed calls, so I cleaned the pockets out on one of the calls there.
Yeah, you were gauging. I was watching you gauge as you were doing it as well.
Yeah, I was gauging and cleaning the primer pockets there. So now those are all cleaned up. And I booked a spot at Chaz for this weekend. So they're doing by appointment only. They're going to have someone manning the gate and make sure that there's not more than X number of people on the range, and that everyone stays completely separate. So I've got 1 hour to get on there, do my shooting, and get out.
Holy jeez, 1 hour.
That's enough.
By the time you get on there, take all everything out that you need, go and put up your targets, come back.
That's enough. I can make that work. If the prospect is just no range for the next 2 months, or
you get 1 hour,
give me the hour. Give it to me. I'm good. Yeah. So I'm gonna take my that 6.5 Creedmoor out. Got it.
It's gonna cut down the old, fish stories. I call them fish stories.
Yep. Yeah. I think anyone starts talking to me, like,
shut up and leave me alone.
Stay on that side of the bay or get off my bay. I want to do some shooting. But I'm gonna get this guy out here and run some rounds through it.
So how many ranges do you have? Like, how many bays do you have? I know that there's at least 3 that I've seen.
5 or 6. The long range is huge too. You could probably put if maintaining proper social distancing, you could probably put 2 or 3 people on that one long range bay.
I was just wondering if they were just doing leaving it for 6 people, like the different ranges, right? So 6 people, each person has a range that they're booking.
Yeah, it's something. It's something like that. I don't know the particulars. They very quickly got a booking solution in place, and it was like super fast. So I'm super happy that I get to try out my nice new rifle that's been collecting dust. Yeah.
Waiting for you.
Waiting for me. And now I've got like 10 rounds of factory 6.5 Creedmoor, and I'm gonna have to whip up like 30, 40 rounds of other stuff for the weekend. Yeah. I think that's about all for me. What about you, Kelly?
I didn't do much. So as Adriel said, he did a couple of maple seed calls, so I've been on them with him. I've talked to Adriel more this week than I've talked to anybody in a month and a half.
I've had a full week of video calls every night. I did it last week, and I'm doing it this week as well. There's one Friday I won't have anything. That's the only night I don't have any video calls.
What about Sunday?
Sunday I have a family one.
Okay.
Saturday I have one with you guys.
Yeah. So I've been doing some calls about maple seed. Just to give people an update on that, because I know people are going to be asking about it again. We posted some things on our website and also on our Facebook pages right now. Everything up until May 11th is essentially canceled. After that, we will let you know, and we'll give you an update. Once we know, obviously we're not mind readers. We don't know what's going to be happening, especially with, specifically ranges in Ontario and some other provinces. All the ranges are closed. Most of the ranges are closed anyway, so we can't have events. So the ones that are the events that we have, the schedule, we haven't really put it up, because why put it up and sell the event if we can't actually have the event? Yeah. So we're holding off on that. But so the ranges that have actually signed agreements with us, we're going to, once we're able to get onto the ranges, we are going to basically move forward with the events that we've already arranged. And anything that we've canceled, what we're going to do is try and go back and schedule those in. If we can't do that, then we'll just have to do it the next year. So, but we have a very full schedule this year already. So I'm hoping that we can schedule maybe 1 or 2 more of the events.
You had
I
a
know.
full schedule.
Thanks, Trevor. We
You're
have.
quite welcome. As
The
long
one
as provinces are under Emergency Measures Act, you're
Yep.
shut down.
Exactly.
Once they're out, I'm already getting a little bit stir crazy. So once
Yep.
they're out, I'm gonna do them like every weekend.
What I think is going to happen is we're going to be super busy.
Mhm.
We're not going to
Well,
have.
the
You guys
February.
are. You guys are the. We're in opposite ends of this whole thing. This break for me has made me not want to go back. It's like, okay, everything I was planning on doing, the charity shoot shut down, Ronnie DeGroot shoot shut down. I'd already canceled SummerSlam because we had to get the range recertified.
Yep.
Now I don't even know if the range recertified. And I'm like, that's good. I needed a break anyway. Adriel's like, as soon as I can put a maple seed on every weekend, I'm gonna. I'm like, not this guy. Somebody else puts on a match, I'm there. Sure, I'll go shoot it. But I love that I'm not responsible for anything for the first
Right.
time. And
Maybe you were taking too much on.
yeah, well, yes,
I'm kind of like, I am kind of liking the rest, but I'm kind of also, I want to not, because I know that I'm function better when I am busy. I
are
am
you
busy.
not functioning well right now?
Oh, I'm functioning fine actually,
Well,
but
there
I
you
also, I function really well when I'm super busy.
I don't think you do.
Oh, thanks a lot.
When's the last time you were double booked or forgot something? Huh?
I don't generally double book or forget stuff.
Are you the same Kelly I've been podcasting with for a few years now? Because I think you do.
No, I actually don't.
I can see the offense growing on your face, and I'm loving it. It's like it
So we
sustains
have
me.
not talked about this. You talked about the Ronnie DeGroot being
Yep.
canceled. We
Mhm.
haven't talked about the actual charity shoot
Yeah.
being canceled. So
But-
are you announcing
it's
that
not.
it's canceled?
Well,
Or
it's like I just said. Everything is on hold while we're under emergency measures.
Mhm.
No.
If we come out of emergency measures, we can hold it because we can set it up the day before. It's not a big deal. The payments are online. But you're right. We haven't talked about it in a while. And, you can still register on PractiScore and then just turn that into a donation, which we will donate to the Rodney Harkwell Memorial Fund. Or if you'd like a refund, we can do that too. You withdraw and I'll get an email and I'll send you a refund.
Yeah, but right now to know what's going to happen. Well,
We haven't-
it is
we
coming,
haven't-
it is
What's gonna
coming
happen.
up pretty close. It is
Right.
coming up. And
Here's what's going to happen. If we're under emergency measures, it's canceled. When the emergency measures are lifted, if there's enough time to pull it off, we will. But I think we should decide what the cutoff is because people need to plan and drive here and all that stuff, right? We're going to put on a charity shoot for 4 people.
Yeah.
right. So why don't we
Nope,
talk?
not a fucking chance.
Okay. So why don't we talk about it and then come up with a date and then we'll let people know.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
that works.
All right. So the other thing that I did in Guns this week is I tried to actually the new holster that I got from Pat. Thank you, Pat, by the way, again. The ghost holster for my CZ. Love it. Yeah. So I'm cheap and I have a duty belt. So I tried to put it on the duty belt. Didn't work because the duty belt's too thick. So I had to go and I went to Double Alpha, checked out what they have. There's not a lot they have in stock, but I'm going to actually buy a IPSC belt so that I can mount it. But I don't know when I'm going to be able to use it because right now things aren't going on. So
You use it every day for dry fire.
Mhm.
yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Did you
I'll let
check MD Gardner?
no, I didn't.
Check him out. I think Trevor recommended him as well. But like Double Tap's got belts and that kind of thing. MD Gardner does. I think even GoTenda has, but they're like
No. You don't want to get junk. Buy it from a reputable IPSC dealer.
no, like they sell. I think they're Double Alpha belts.
Yeah, I was looking at Double Alpha, straight
Yeah.
from Double Alpha. So
Yeah, they're so
Anyways.
expensive straight from Double Alpha, though, especially with the dollar being what it is.
Oh,
So
yeah.
the hierarchy, in my opinion, based on my experience, is Double Alpha first,
mhm.
then Ghost, And then Murray Gardner and Double Alpha are selling a knockoff of Ghost, it's more of a knockoff of a Ghost. And they're nice and stiff, and I like them. But the quality of the Velcro that's sewed on the back, not so much. Probably the second best belt on the market as far as fit, finish, and quality is the Sierra Speed. It's a professional grade level belt. My only concern or criticism of it is that I find it's lacking stiffness significantly.
And
But
so
it will
I don't-
last you for years.
yeah, but if it lacks stiffness, then it's not. It's not good.
Yeah.
So
So stiff and wear out, or not so stiff and last a long time, or just, Double Alpha, one and done.
Yeah.
Or Ghost.
Double-
Ghosts, I buy Ghost belts because I've got one Double Alpha and it's very expensive. And Ghost to me is as good. So
Fast Toys also is what he is
Fast
talking
Toys in
about.
Winnipeg is a good one.
Okay, I'll check them out and see what they have. There wasn't a lot of my size available at Double Alpha right now, so it was.
Even if you went like 4 inches bigger, it
Mm,
would still work.
Yep.
Just never go exactly with your waist. Always go bigger. Like right now, my waist is a 32 and I'm wearing a 38 belt.
mm.
And there's lots of overlap, but I can still use it.
Right.
36 would still be fine too.
Yeah, so I went and looked at my waist size, and they didn't have. So I added 2, and they didn't have that, so I would have added 4. So
You could get away with that.
Yeah, that'd be
Okay.
fine, I think.
all right, okay. So that's everything that I did in guns this week. I didn't do a lot, really. Just calls. Didn't do anything really. So
Let me
That's
pick
it.
your brain for a second there because I missed the episode. I suppose I could just go back and listen to it. We didn't have a chance, you and I, to talk about your shotgun reloader. What were you given? Because I read a comment about buying another one rather than converting it. What did you
Yeah.
get?
So I got the Mech Junior.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
So and
And
it's
Mech-
brand new, and it comes with 12 gauge die, and so the recommendation. So I said I was going to go and try and purchase a 28 gauge die, and the recommendation was no, don't do that. Just go and get
Yeah, because it's not that simple.
no.
Yeah,
So-
switching over. Just if I would offer it. Well, I would offer it. Yeah.
There's some. The person that was talking was also my brother was also responding to that, and he's telling
Mhm.
me that I should actually just go and take all of his trap guns because he has some really nice ones.
Well, there you
And,
go.
and I'm going.
Do that too.
That's a solution we can all live with.
He's probably watching. He's watching regularly now. I'm going. Ooh, okay.
Your
so-
brother is?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Awesome.
And he's
So-
gonna be like, "Who is this jerk always picking on my sister? What an asshole!"
No.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, we're starting to really bond as brothers and brother and sister because yeah, I used to be that type of sister that you just didn't. He's somebody who is extremely knowledgeable in guns. He's been shooting all his life. He competed for Canada. He
In what
Really?
discipline?
he went to Beasley and small bore
nice.
and large bore.
Rifle.
Yeah, and so he works with the same people that I work with, and he was the armorer. And
No way.
so he has quite the collection. He's been hunting all of his life. I used to make his life miserable because of that. And so I was at his place, and he has a hunting cottage there. Oh my God, it's beautiful, and it's just set up so great. And then I was looking at his property. I'm going, this would be perfect for Maple Seed. And then he's teaching his son how to hold the rifle that was bought. And I'm going, no, he needs to come to Maple Seed. And he won't listen to you, but he'll listen to me. So I'm going, all right, so I'll teach him how to actually hold the rifle. And yeah, and now we're talking about going to my dad's place, taking a look at my dad's also a collector as well. So going over to my dad's place. Oh my God, I hope he doesn't hear this. And going through his safes and doing an
Get through
inventory.
the bones. Man's not gone yet. You guys are divvying up his firearms when he passes.
No, listen.
That's
we-
exactly what you're doing.
Exactly. Like my brother and I can now talk about things, right? He's so excited about it too. So anyways, I was saying, you know what we should do? We should go over to Dad's place and we should look through the safes and see, okay, you'll get this, I'll get this, and we will talk about it. Because if not, if my dad passes before my stepmom does, it's going to be bad because the conversation we had was she said, I'm just going to take everything to the cops and they can actually destroy them. We're going, no, that's not happening.
No. You need to, I'm sure your father has a will and that can be sorted out.
Oh, no. Anyways.
Oh, well, that needs to be sorted out.
Yeah. Anyways, so it's nice. My brother and I can actually, we can talk about things and it's nice. I'm kind of finding some ground that it's nice, you know.
Now that you're no longer a liberal bleeding heart, you and your brother are rekindling a relationship. That's good. Warms my heart.
I've never been never called. Yeah, he's called me a liberal bleeding heart. Yeah, he's called me a snowflake. Yeah, he's called me all these things, right?
Yeah, he used to pretty much be a vegetarian.
Yeah, and he so it's nice. I can walk by him at work because he works with me too in the same institution. I'll walk by him and I say, "Hey, do you know what I bought today?" And he goes, "What'd you buy?" And I said, "An AR-15." And actually sold him an AR-15 too. So it's like he'd never had a perspective before, and so anyways. So it's kind of nice, you know. We sit there and we talk about it. Anyways,
cool.
That's it.
That is awesome.
That's a long story, but it's like kind of like
it was a good story. You and your brother are bonding over guns. It's awesome.
Mean to him about hunting. I used to be one of those people. I'm not anymore. Anyways, okay.
Neat.
That's it.
Upcoming events. Everything is canceled. Stay home in your Ginch and play video games.
Right?
Ginch? I haven't heard that word since 1982.
I'm bringing it back. Let's see here. You mentioned Maple Seed news. I saw this in Caliber Mag. I don't know how, with it is. The RCMP is going to use C42 to extend licenses. You guys hear about this one?
Nope.
I heard right now that so licensing right now is on hold. Right? They're going to extend it. That's what I heard. That's been posted as well. Tracy posted it recently in the CCFR. So
extend the grace period, I think, is
correct.
What they're mentioning.
Yeah.
And so, another thing, and I think this was just in our comment feed here.
So it's like some made up magical thing that doesn't really matter because with the stroke of a pen we can extend it.
Apparently,
when it expires.
It hurts no one, and it was fine the whole time.
Oh. Wow.
Why do they expire? They check us every day. If we did something bad, they could just be like, "You're not allowed to have guns anymore," and they'd be done with it, right?
Money.
Yeah.
Your license should be yours for life until you do something to lose it.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you have to renew your license for cars every year?
Well, that's
money.
Tax. Yeah, tax money.
So why do you have to renew your license for your gun gun license every 5 years?
Taxation is theft.
Indeed. We are all in agreement here.
Yes.
Dan was saying that the CFO was going to put up a website.
Which CFO?
Oh, never mind. I didn't read it properly. He said if the CFO just set up an online verification site, this would all be fine. He was saying,
right? Just like transfers. We could do our own transfers, damn it.
Yep.
And if you don't know how to computer, then you pick up your telephone because you're 87 years old.
Mm-hmm. And you fax in a copy of your thing, and you fill in a form.
Yeah. Who the hell has
and you call it an FAC?
Yes. Yeah.
We still get faxes at work every day, Kelly.
Do you really?
Yeah. One of the other commenters mentioned they sent in their picture of their pal to someone, and that person used that picture to scam someone else.
Yeah, that's greasy.
Yeah,
I didn't. That's not cool. One guy sent me his picture of his pal with this thumb over the face, and I didn't question it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know what this dude looks like, so
you're mailing to him anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
so if these people are buying from like SFRC or DC,
you're going to show it, or you're not going to get the gun.
Exactly. So show the damn thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, there are people that are going to be greasy, like you said, that happened to Guy, and it's going to happen to one.
But it's not hard to track down, right? Because you know who you sent a picture of it to. You have the email. I sent it to this guy. My email address is not bigboner691982@gmail. It's Trevor Furlow at Gmail. Like, I'm not hard to find.
You just gave everyone your email address. Everyone on Facebook watching, everyone on...
Don't matter.
Okay.
Yeah, well, anyways, most people knew it was trevorfurlett@gmail.com because we keep saying it all the time.
Yeah.
Right, for the hate mail.
Mhm.
Can you
bet.
send someone a digital bag of dicks? Because I feel like my inbox is about to get flooded.
It is, yeah.
You can reply with.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what you'll need to do.
Yeah, it won't. Yeah.
Yep. All right, cool. Well, that was the only bit of news I had. In terms of new gun stuff, not a lot. I don't know if I talked about this one last week. Actually, I'm pretty sure I didn't. Maple Ridge Armory is doing... that is not the right thing. I'm looking for their upper. They have an AR-10 upper now. They have one for the Stag that they're making in-house. Come on.
That was incredibly exciting.
So while you're doing that, so Jeremy Crane said, when I buy over the net, I always get them to send me a picture of their driver's license so I have their address. That is a great idea.
I have their address because I'm mailing them the gun.
Yeah, I know, but get them to send you a picture of their driver's license too. They're less likely to be
Ha.
idiots.
Gotta
Scam
think
you.
on that one.
Yes. Here it is. Oh.
Oh,
Take a look at this. Okay, so the Maple Ridge Armory MRA 10 billet upper receiver fits the Stag 10 and Matrix 762D series of firearms. It's precision machined, yada yada yada, and you can get it in anodized black, Cerakote, FDE, or ODG. Now, I think Trevor and I, we looked at, there are still Stag 10 uppers you can buy, but they're not billet, so they're not like as nice as this one would be. But you can still get those for less, or if you want like a fancier upper, these guys have them now, which is kind of interesting. They'll probably also start building Stag 10s and Matrix armories now, since they're making those uppers in-house, right? Indeed.
New gun stuff. Carrying on. Doug says that Vortex announced a new scope today. Anything on that?
Oh, I just saw that and I didn't add it. The Strike Eagle 4 to 26, 6 to 24,
Nice.
something like that. It's their extended range. So like their Strike Eagles, they have like a 1 to 6, they have a 1 to 8. They're not top of the line. They're like a budget style scope.
Budget-ish. I mean, they're still close to $500.
I think Ryan was talking about that one.
But compared to the
PST,
Razor,
yeah, those are more
1 to
expensive.
10.
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that they added another one to the line. Look at what they did with the Diamondback Tactical line, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can go 4 to 16 or 6 to 24 by 50. 5 to 25 first focal plane, Doug says.
There we go.
Yeah.
5 to 25.
So basically, yeah, it's brand new. 5 to 5 or 5 to 25.
Yeah.
What would that be good
$800.
for? Would that be good for like PRS?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
Illuminated reticle, 25 power.
Not bad price.
That might be cool on my
Max elevation 110
Dang.
MOA. Okay.
That's a lot.
All right. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. First focal plane, 5 to 25 by 56. So it's got a nice big objective on it. FFP, 110 MOA of travel. That's some good travel. That'll be good for shooting long range. If you wanted to shoot long range, that's 34 millimeter tube. And
34?
Yep. EBR 7C reticle illuminated.
What
$800.
are those rings going to cost? a guy?
$800 is super
It's
reasonable. I
cheap.
wonder what kind of glass they got in that thing to have that kind of a price. That's way
Doug
too
says
low.
it's the same as the Diamondback Tactical glass.
That's why. Okay. Yeah. So it's not like their
Razor glass.
Yeah, it's not their Razor glass. Well, they had
And
to skimp
it's-
on something to get it to $800.
And
But
it's possibly Filipino, not American, because they make them in China, the Philippines, and stateside, right?
Mm-hmm. Looks cool.
but it'd be okay for somebody who's getting into PRS, and
Mm-hmm.
so get into it with this. $800, get to shoot with the big boys, and then if you want to upgrade to something that's a little bit more expensive, do that.
Well, with 110 MOA of travel with a
pretty good.
rail, you could shoot with a 22 using that and go pretty far out too.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, why don't we get into our main topic?
Sweet.
And for our main topic, this is one we're kind of bouncing around this idea of what should you do when we're socially isolated, sitting in our house and not able to go out to matches and that kind of thing. We're talking about the concept of dry fire across the different disciplines.
Pornhub memberships have gone through the roof.
Oh, I
They
forgot
were
to
free.
talk
Didn't they
about
make
my.
them free?
Wasn't there like a premium live cam thing?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
Kelly, you must know.
What?
You were just going to comment on how Pornhub accounts are free now.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What's that? I was just gonna. I forgot to mention. I got all my memberships updated this past week,
Including your Pornhub one.
including my Pornhub.
Good for you.
Fantastic. You know,
I
if you
hope
have a
my
creator one, you
brother's
get
not watching.
premium for free.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. That's hearsay. Anyways, back to dry fire. Speaking of Pornhub,
how we got
yeah,
Well, if you're fixed and you're playing with Pornhub, isn't it still dry fire?
yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Or seedless?
So we're gonna show some dry fire. First rule of dry fire: no live ammo in the room. So, Trevor, you were making some ammo to dry fire with. I assume that's primerless 9mm cases.
Yeah. So
On top.
I will show it here, and I'm done playing with optics boxes. Yes. Now, there's something that the listeners and viewers need to be aware of when you make dummy rounds that are primerless. So let me pop a few out here. What I did was I set up the press with no powder and no primers, and just resized the cases and seeded the bullets, and away you go. Dummy rounds. So you have to pick them up to look to see that there are no primers in the pockets. But other than that, they look like, to the uninitiated or uneducated, live ammunition.
Mhm.
Best thing to do to really make them distinguishable from live cartridges is to actually drill through the case, which I will do later on this weekend at some point when I'm back in the reloading room. I just didn't have time before the show tonight. But if you drill a hole right straight through that piece of brass, you'd have to really be a numpty to think that is a live round of ammunition with a hole in the side. I'm not saying those people don't exist. They do. They breed. They vote liberal. But most people will immediately notify them or recognize them as dummies. Now, I think it's more for us to make sure that we never get these dummy rounds mixed in with our match ammo or practice ammo. You know what I mean? So we wouldn't want to be going to the range of dummy rounds when we got to go bang instead of click. The other thing you need to be-
I have RO'd for someone who on the beep drew their gun, click, and racked out a snap cap.
A snap cap. So
Yeah. Yep.
a snap cap is a different thing from a dummy round. So in case the listeners don't know the difference, there is a difference. This is a dummy round. It looks like real ammunition, but it's inert. A snap cap has a spring inside, and when the firing pin strikes the dummy primer in the snap cap, it goes forward. So you're dry firing, but your firing pin is still striking something, and it's striking something spring loaded. So some people don't like to dry fire, and they want to make sure that the firing pin is always hitting something. So what you can do is you load your mag with 9 rounds and top it off with a 10th snap cap if you're so inclined. Depending on your gun, if you want to do just draws and mag changes, no problem. These are great. Some
nice
guns,
weight on them. I like the dummy ones because they have way more weight than a snap cap. So when you're loading that mag, it feels more natural. It feels like the weight feels better.
Yep, I'm going to come to that. But one thing you need to be aware of with these dummy rounds is that some firing pins will get stuck right into the flash hole. How do I know? I had it happen. My open gun had an extended firing pin, and it locked the gun up bad. So at the back of the case head where the primer would go, you can see the flash hole there, and the firing pin got right inside that flash hole and got stuck and locked the gun up. And it wasn't cool. So you need to be aware of that. And really, I don't know how you find out other than you get, if you know your gun and you know your gun has an extended firing pin, you might want to put the regular firing pin in there before you start dry firing, just in case, because it happened to me, so it could have happened to you.
Well, and the other thing to consider is like the dummies are great for practicing remedials and mag changes and that kind of thing. They're not necessary for a lot of dry fire. Like a lot of dry fire you could just use with the mag in, chamber empty, and just pull up and do your thing, right?
So depending on what you're doing in dry fire will determine whether or not you want these dummy rounds. And like Adriel was saying, the reason he likes the dummy rounds is because when the magazine is full and in the gun, and I'm handling the gun, I'm handling the same weight that I would handle on the beep at a match. So if I sit here and I do 1,000 practice draws with an empty gun, and then I go to the range and start drawing with a loaded gun, the weight's going to be different, and it has a potential to throw off the muscle memory. So I, for one, practice my draws and my reloads with magazines filled with dummy rounds. Now, put something, depending on where you're reloading, put something on the floor. I noticed here that I was using a blanket. As a matter of fact, the blanket that you see behind me on the floor, but the mag pads, the base pads on my magazines, still dinged up my floating floor in the man cave. So if you're dropping loaded magazines on the floor, they are going to they're going to do some damage to the floor.
I like using this chair I'm sitting on. I just turn it around, and then that kind of acts as a catch. It drops onto the chair. The chair's got foam on it, and then if they fall on the floor after that, big deal. It's like
the energy's gone out of it. That's right. So now I throw a cushion on the floor if I'm doing a standing mag change. If I'm doing mag changes downstairs on the concrete, who cares? I shoot on concrete at AMA. Typically, though, we're not dropping full mags on the ground. So there are some guys that buy fresh mags every year, and there are some guys that have a dry fire set of magazines. 6, 7 magazines loaded with dummy rounds all time. And the only thing they use those mags for is dry fire. And as long as they follow to the gun during a mag change, that's all they're concerned about. They don't care if they wear out or what happens to them. So,
I would put down a thick blanket or something like that and just not abuse the heck out of them if I like, but that's because I'm cheap.
Yeah. You and I don't buy full brand new sets of mags every year either.
Mm-hmm.
Some people do. Like I only have 6 mags for this gun. People are like, what? What about your practice mags? What about your match mags? No, stop it.
Yeah. Just while we're talking about no live ammo, so you can make your own dummy shotgun shells, and I've done that too. That's an option. Now that our dollar is so crappy, I don't even know if I should recommend these, but Brownells has these dummy shot shells, and they say dummy on the side. They have a little rubber piece on the back there, which you can strike if you need to, if you want to take a practice trigger pull with your shotgun. And they've got shot in them so that the weight is nice, because when you make a fake shot shell, you need to get that weight proper in order to really reload. I mean, one of the interesting things that happens with pistol mags, if you reload a pistol mag and it's full, and you schwack that thing home, sometimes the slide goes forward. Now, if all you do is dry fire with empty mags, it's not really as reliable, right? With M&P or Shadow or something like that. Whereas with a full mag, it does it. So knowing how much force that takes, and knowing whether it's going to happen reliably or unreliably with your gun is nice to know. And you're only going to get that if you have like a mag full of dummies in there.
Yep. Yeah, like tonight, for some reason, one of my mags, when loaded, is not dropping out of my damn Wesson. And I still have Tim's aluminum grips on here. And I thought perhaps it was the grips. So, because that's the only thing on the gun that changed. Mm-hmm. So I took the grips off and tried, and sometimes it comes out, sometimes it doesn't.
Is it
full
of dummies?
Take a empty mag, and it comes flying out of there. Tried that mag in my STI, and it came out. The tolerances of the damn Wesson and the STI are not the same. This mag comes out 100%. So I got a mag that's the feed lips are opened up a little bit, and I would not have known that if I didn't do some dry fire. I would have got to the range, and mag number 1, which all my mags are numbered, mag number 1 wouldn't have come out of the gun. Pro tip: number your mags, because if you have a malfunction, you know which mag was in the gun. It's one of the variables you can look at,
and you can pull that one out very easily.
I always put my mags in the pouches in order. So I also know, okay, it happened during my third mag change. So that was mag, and I go to that location. And you can math it out and figure it out pretty easy to try and determine whether or not mag is the culprit. So,
yeah. It's a good idea.
Awesome. You were mentioning here, use apps, buy the books.
Yes. So apps. Not everybody has an IPSC timer, but even if you do have an IPSC timer, there's so much more you can do with DryFire with an app than you can do with an IPSC timer.
IPSC timers probably won't hear the click of your trigger. Like a lot of them won't get down that sensitive too, right?
Right, and that's not what I want to use the app for, though. There are some apps on your phone that are like timers and stuff, but this app is called DryFire, and it's DryFire Power Timer.
Yeah, I got that one too. Looks
and
like that.
At the top of the screen, it defaulted to fast draw. So I can adjust my par time, and then there's a delay in between strings. So the timer will beep. 1.5 seconds later, it will beep again. And then I've got 4.5 seconds to reset for the next string. And then it'll beep. 1.5 seconds later, it'll beep again. And then after 10 reps, it will give me a longer tone telling me that this activity is over. Now, at the top of the screen, there are some side arrows there. The first one is fast draw. This one is fast draw with a reload. IDPA, nobody cares. That's dumb. Personal choice, steel challenge. And you can tailor them. You can change them. You can change the name and to whatever you want. And then customize the time.
Yeah.
So like fast draw with a reload. So anyway, people say DryFire is boring. Those people don't do DryFire with a plan. So the app has activities. You can create your own activities in the app. And the other thing, and this seems incredibly like common sense, every DryFire drill you do 3 times. Freestyle, strong hand, weekend. You know how fast that burns you through your 15 minutes if you're just going to DryFire for 15 minutes? And that seems to be a number. I don't know if Ben Stager started it, but a lot of people say 15 minutes a day, that's all you need. And I believe that if you are actually DryFiring 15 minutes a day, oh man, your comfort level with handling the firearm, being safe with the firearm, your proficiency, all of that's going to go up.
I think that's like most people, the match is their practice.
Yeah,
so,
unfortunately.
Yeah, if
those people aren't interested in getting good, and if they are, if they're only going to matches and they're interested in getting good, they're kidding themselves because you just don't get good by playing. Like we don't have coaches, but learning happens during the practice with the coach, and then you practice the skills you learned during practice within the context of a game. You don't learn in the game. The game is where you go demonstrate what you learned. So the match is where you go demonstrate what you learned during DryFire.
Yeah, and I think so you're saying 15 minutes. I think someone who practices for 15 minutes a day on DryFire, they are going to be better than the people who go to the match for their practice and very quickly. Like there's I'm sure you see it in IPSC as well, but in 3-gun we see it. Some people will shoot 3-gun for years and like they want to get better, but they just don't. And then some people will shoot for a year or two, and they'll jump up every match. Jump up, big jumps to where maybe a year or two is all they need before they're shooting in with the best in their local club, right?
Yep, absolutely. I don't DryFire enough, not nearly enough. And I mean, right now I should be DryFiring like a machine, but I'm reloading like a machine. When the reloading is done, then I think I'll spend my days shooting the bow in the basement and then DryFiring. But once it gets nice, I'll be finding a parking lot and banging around with some of my new toys until the range opens, and then don't worry, I'll have lots to do on the range. We got a lot of cleanup to do.
Yep.
So, the other thing that, so obviously, then the Ben Stager book. Right now, I don't know of a better. It's called DryFire Reloaded, and I don't know of a better product. I'm not saying there isn't. I'm saying I don't know of a better product. All my buddies get the Ben Stager books. They're all better than me, so you know there's something to be said for that. Then you can order online these little laser cut cardboard targets. Now I've got this one colored blue with a blue Sharpie. It comes brown on one side, white on the other side. According to the IPSC rulebook, white is the preferred color for steel, but the way we shoot here in Canada, a shoot target is the natural cardboard color, and a no-shoot target is white. So we don't tend to want to shoot white steel, except for one club in the province, because if it's blue, you're not allowed to shoot it. That's a club rule. So they paint all the steel in the club. You're not supposed to shoot blue, and they shoot their poppers either white or yellow. I think they go with white. Anyway, our poppers are blue. So I colored this blue. Now, these are available online from a variety of places, and you can figure out also by going online or looking at the book if this target is supposed to be a 16th of the size of a real target. Then if you stand this many feet away, you're supposed to be this many meters away. It's scaled down in a ratio. This is an IPSC mini target. And these are a lot easier to come by and probably free if you're polite and ask a match director if you could have one to take home.
Or if you know Kelly, I got a ton of them in my garage.
They're still scaled down, right? And in the game of IPSC, the mini target is used to represent distance. So darn, this stage would be awesome if I had 20-meter shots. This bay is not 20 meters long, so I'll use mini targets at 10. Call it good, right? So in your house, you can back up from this mini target 4 or 5 yards, and it'll still represent 7 or 10 yards on a regular size target. So have something that you're aiming at while doing dry fire. And dry fire is used to reinforce the fundamentals. Sight picture has to be perfect. Your trigger press has to be perfect. The more that you do perfect practice, the more that it's going to be ingrained into your self-conscious, and it'll translate into the real world on the range. So if you don't see a perfect sight picture, don't press off the shot in the beginning. You can build up some speed and accept good enough later on, but you're really in the beginning, if you're new and you're dry firing, what you're practicing is practicing doing everything perfect, because your brain doesn't know it's practice. Your brain just knows you're doing things perfect. So that's where the emphasis should be. Make sure that, don't press the trigger if you don't have a good sight picture, so that you kind of become trained to only press the trigger when you get a good sight picture. I think that's all I've got.
All right.
Real.
I'll want to do a little bit of 3-gun specific stuff. You've got the pistol stuff done, and I would argue that someone who is doing practice for IPSC pistol is overqualified for the kind of pistol shooting we do in 3-gun, because the shots typically aren't as challenging. Targets are usually closer, bigger, easier to hit. It's usually like hoser stuff. But the other stuff's a little bit harder. One thing, and I've talked about it on the show before, is practicing shotgun reloading, because so many people do it poorly. That it is a good place to make up time and to beat other people, I guess you could say. And there's really a couple things that I would really recommend people try from home. One of them is practicing their match saver, because that match saver should be a smooth 1.5 second load. And the only time you get into trouble is when it's not smooth. So you should be able to, from your hand, pull up here, like grab that shell, sweep it into the port, and then hit the button on the way out. And that should be 1.5 seconds at most. I mean, if you get really fast with it, you're gonna get way faster than that. But you should be able to do it reliably. I've seen too many people where they get to the end, like, oh, they're looking at the empty port. What do I do now? What do I do? And they grab the shell and they fumble it, and they go. If it goes in backwards, well, then that's bad. But it should be a nice quick pop in, hit the button, and off you go. And you should be able to do that on command and get some reps in there. So that's one thing to practice. Another thing with shotgun is practicing. If you can, you got the time right now over the winter. Practice strong hand and weak hand reloading, because
that's a good idea.
Each of them has an advantage. Weak hand reloading is great if you can pop it down, and it's good for some angles. You can pull the shotgun a little bit to your left, or you can run it straight. Practice your quad loads, so you should be able to strip out 4 and then get those 4 into the gun very quickly. That's your weak hand reload, and then your strong hand reload. I'll come down for that. Your strong hand reload is like this, and that you should be able to do as well, reloading with your strong hand. So the best 3-gun shooters can do either of those on command when they need to, and they use it as the situation determines. So you should be able to use it. There's like sometimes you'll be underneath something and you can't use that strong hand because it'll put your shotgun barrel into the ground. That would be a good thing to know what to do about, right? So if you can only do one of those, practice the other one and get that into play. And that's gonna get you way further ahead. The other one I wanted to mention is with rifle, being able to shoot positionally.
Oh, Adriel, can we go back shotgun for a second?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Everything you showed for shotgun was correct and really cool for 1990. Now, let me show you how people reload shotguns today. just so you know, I'm just saying. Carry on now.
Always the same side if you're going to do that, right? The strong hand, weak hand, what are you talking about? I always just grab the one from the magazine. I grab this big stick mag.
That's right. Putting shells in one at a time is for the poors.
Yeah. Yes.
And it turns out I got these set up wrong, actually. So I put these, Chad sent me these clips, which are awesome.
Yeah.
But I put them in my belt this way.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Let me stand up again here. So I take the mag off the belt.
You have to flip it. Yep.
Right? Now, what if the mag was on the belt, shells up? Boom. No flipping. Saving a half second.
Yeah.
So I've got some double-sided tape on order. When it comes in, I'm ripping them all off and redoing them.
Yeah. I see different people
straight from the belt into the gun.
I see different people doing different things with their shotgun mags. It's mostly on like a space-based thing. So if you've got a lot of girth around the middle, you'll have room to like space those magazines appropriately. If you don't, I got a buddy of mine who's got like a 20-inch waist, and it's like he had to home make some of his stuff because you cannot run a 3-gun belt setup with a 20-inch waist. It's just he ended up using some Kevlar not Kevlar,
20-inch
Kydex.
Wow.
Kydex to make like this 4 pistol mag fan out holder thing, just because couldn't fit it otherwise. Couldn't possibly fit it all.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah. The other thing that I want to mention that I think more people need to practice is positional shooting with the rifle, and I would specifically focus on resting next to a wall and being able to. So in 3-gun, you can touch the walls. In IPSC, a lot of times you can't touch walls if they're outside of the shooting area, but in 3-gun there's no such. So with 3-gun, I would really recommend people test out grabbing surfaces. Here would be a good time to use a printed miniaturized size target to simulate long range. You should be able to, standing, look through your scope and make that shot on that 300-yard target, just standing, just by holding on to something next to you. Similarly, you should try kneeling, you should try cross-legged, and you should be able to make those hits, because that's what you're going to have to do on the clock. And I hate seeing people go up next to a wall and do something like this. Grab it and then put their rifle on top. Like that is not steady. You need to be able to make that Y with your finger, grab onto it, and then hang on to that piece of wood and be steady with it.
You're not used to it. You're not gonna be fast with it.
Oh man, I want to go shoot this thing. I forgot how awesome this gun is. I picked it up. I was like, oh, my space gat.
Space shotgun. I would recommend both sides of the wall. Yes, this is the easiest one for a righty. Go on to that other side. That's a little bit tougher of a grab, but you should know how to grab that wall and hold on to it. The rest of it, the rest is like I said, I think you'll either get it from the IPSC practice that Trevor was talking about, or the Maple Seed practice that Kelly's talking about. So
you can lean on some walls in IPSC.
Yes, I was saying many times the walls are outside the shooting zone, and then therefore you can't touch them.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Most people don't know that rule. Good for you.
It's a silly rule.
It is.
If the wall's there, I should be able to just ram myself into that wall and shoot right off of it. That's
right. If I want to be dumb, let me.
Yeah. Kelly?
Yep.
Do you want to talk about
So,
Maple Seed?
Yeah, we can talk about Maple Seed a little bit. So both Trevor and Adriel talked about rifles, pistols. I'm going to talk about and shotguns, and I'm going to talk a little bit about Maple Seed and basically what you should be doing at home to get ready for a Maple Seed. Not specifically dry firing. You can do that. Yeah, yoga. So a couple of recommendations before I get into specifics are go to the YouTube channel and check out the videos that we have there, because it's going to tell you what you need for a Maple Seed.
Every time I forget about my sling, that's where I go.
Yeah. So it talks about scopes versus iron sights. So you can buy some scopes, or you can keep your iron sights or tech sights, whatever you want to do with that. Talks about ammo, how to choose the right ammo, and it also talks about slings too. Basically how to make one, set one up, different things like that. If you actually go there and you decide that you want to purchase a Maple Seed sling, we have them now in stock in store. So go to our website, mapleseedrifleman.com.
Is this a commercial? Or
yeah,
you trying to sell stuff? Okay.
Yeah. So, and go and buy a sling, because you're going to need a sling to actually take a Maple Seed. And if you purchase it and get sent to you, then you can practice getting into the sling because you've watched the video as well. So that's one of the things that I want people to do prior to coming to the event. I'm not going to show you how to get into sling or anything tonight, but there's a couple of things that you can practice in order to get you ready for an event. Or if you've already been to an event, you can practice these so that it's going to be quicker for you, because we have a couple of stages, stage 2 and 3, which are time stages where you have to do a whole bunch of things. And you're going to get into positions that are kind of uncomfortable. But if you can practice these positions and find out which works for you, basically in your downtime, then you're going to be able to actually get into those positions quite quickly. We find a lot of times people, when they do transition, they actually lose a lot of time because they are uncomfortable and they don't know how to actually get into them. So the first thing I'd like you guys to do is actually get a target, put it on a wall, and put it about 2 feet up. And that way you can actually focus on that target when you're doing your dry firing or whatever you're going to be doing. The next thing that I want you guys to do is practice the seated or kneeling positions, because we have 4 of them. We have your cross-legged, which is basically like sitting in Indian style, for lack of a politically correct term. And practice that while you're doing things like, for example, if you're watching TV or if you're actually folding laundry, I tell people to do it, if I'm talking to women or whoever, if you're doing laundry or whatever, sit with your legs crossed and it'll be comfortable for you. You can do, the next one is crossed ankled. Then we have open leg and we have kneeling. And kneeling is basically the one that we see most people get into first. It's the quickest one to get into, but the other ones are going to be more stable. So try them out. See, as I said, practice them, because if you can practice them, it means that you're going to be basically almost like yoga. You make yourself more flexible, limber, and it's going to be more comfortable for you, and it's going to be more familiar to you as well. Then what I want you to do with that is I want you to start. So once you've actually become comfortable with those positions, those 4 positions, or pick one, I want you to start with standing up and then dropping down into whatever position that you're choosing. That way, because again, we in stage 2 and 3, we take you from a standing position and then we get you into a seated position or the kneeling position, and then you start shooting. So again, get into those comfortable transitioning, and then you're actually going to save time as well. So, and then when you go from standing to your seated, then I want you to graduate onto your standing to your prone position. And you can do this in your basement, in your hallway, wherever you want to do as well. So that's going to get you comfortable with transitioning. And the next thing that I want you to do is actually take some empty magazines and put them down beside you and kind of make almost like we call it nesting, like make a nest or in your area around you. That way you can actually, so when you go from your standing position to your prone position, you're going to actually drop into that position and establish where you are. And then you're going to be able to take your mags, and then if you were on the line, you'd be inserting them into your rifle. You need to be able to actually set things up and get familiar with them and get comfortable with them so that you can repeat it. It's muscle memory, basically. So once you've actually done that, what you can do is you can actually start doing your dry firing trigger practicing. One of the things that we have is this thing here. It's called a trigger trainer. We give these out at Maple Seeds. People were wondering, where's these trigger trainers you're talking about? It's a freaking pen is what it is. So you can You can actually start using a trigger trainer. Trigger trainer is basically what we want you to do is take your trigger finger and take the fleshy part of your trigger finger and you place it on the top of your pen. And what you want to do is you want to take a nice, smooth, slow, steady press on your pen. It's basically taking up the slack and you hear the click. And what you do is you hold the trigger back. So you let it stay basically. And what this does is it allows time for the bullet to exit the barrel. And then you ride the reset to a slow and you hear it click. And then you start it again. Click. And basically what we get people to do at a Maple Seed is we get them to start doing some trigger training. And you can do this, by the way, anywhere as I do it at work. And it's trigger practice, trigger squeeze. What you can do with this is you can, once you've actually become familiar and nice slow steady squeeze and you hold the trigger back, etc., and you keep repeating it, then you can actually do this on the line with an empty rifle. You have to make sure, or you can do this in your basement with an empty rifle. Again, you make sure that there's no ammunition, anything around you. You can have your magazines, but you ensure that they are actually empty. 10-22s, by the way, are okay to dry fire, but other rifles, you might want to actually use a magazine and insert snap caps or dummy rounds or what have you. So basically take the rifle, sit cross-legged if you can. If you can't, whatever other position, either the open leg or the cross ankle, lay the rifle across your legs with the barrel pointed at the target that you've set up, and then actually take that same trigger finger and basically use whatever you've just done with your trigger trainer. So take up the slack, click, right, and ride the reset. And then you can use your other hand, so your support side hand, you can use that to cycle the action, or a bolt if you have a bolt as well. So that's actually how you do dry fire practice with a 10-22. One of the things that we also talk about is knowing your rifle. Make sure that you put the same or the right amount of pressure or poundage on the trigger. Figure out how much weight you need to put on your trigger, because if you have, like I do, and I have a Timney trigger in my 10-22, it's 1.5 pounds. If I'm putting 10 pounds of force on this trigger, it's going someplace else. I only need to put 1.5 pounds on this trigger. So just understand how much weight is on your trigger, basically. Going back to, so you've now actually done some dry fire on your rifle. What you can do is now get into the position, whatever it is, into its stable position, whether it's prone or it's your seated position, and then start actually inserting magazines and removing the magazines. Those are empty, by the way. So insert, eject, insert a new one, eject, and keep doing that. And that's the other thing that we see with those transition and time stages, is we have a magazine change in the middle of them. And that's where people actually also start to panic, is because they have to insert their magazine, they have to actually fire off a couple of shots, they have to eject a magazine and put a new one. And it's basically muscle memory, and just keep practicing it. It's one thing that I did almost every single day when I was trying to actually obtain my rifleman patch, is I did all of this. I transitioned, I got into the positions, and I started inserting just magazines that were empty and ejecting them, putting new ones in, ejecting it. And it's just basically muscle memory over and over and over again. That's actually how you're going to get really good at those transitioning stages, and you won't freak out with the time. So those are some of the recommendations I have. That's it.
Cool. Thanks, Kelly.
Yep.
Yeah, there we go. There's a bunch of different dry fire things you can do while you're stuck in your house and bored. Listener feedback on Facebook. Was there anything that we haven't got that is kind of interesting we should pull up? I think we've been getting to them.
Yep.
Yep.
I invited Tim to come on. We're going to take over.
Like now?
No. I was going to ask him to come on tonight because I know that he's studied those books and does a lot of dry fire. Mm-hmm. Probably dry fires more than anybody I know. And he would have been cool. Tim Thomas from Nova Scotia.
Hi, Tim Thomas.
But it was too short notice, and I figured he wouldn't be available, but he ended up watching anyway. So,
Oh, he should come on.
yeah, well, we'll do one specific and at some point just for IPSC.
Perfect.
This was we touched upon multiple disciplines. We can do one more in depth for IPSC, and then maybe one more in depth for the other ones as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
All right, listener feedback. Listener feedback is sponsored by Armory DC Gunsmith. Armory DC Gunsmith is a full-service gunsmith who specializes in firearms refinishing. He offers hot bluing, parkerizing, and Cerakote finishes, as well as wood refinishing. Check out his online inventory of new and used guns, firearms accessories, optics, and more at dcgunsmith.ca. And he also has AR-10 mags if you're looking for those. I happen to know.
Does he still have a lot, or did you buy them all?
I did not buy them all. He still had more. So if you're looking for the 1010s, he's got some of them.
All right.
Trevor, do you want to take this first one here?
From Josh. Hey, Slamfire folks. I have 2 questions for you. After listening for Doug Ford talk about bringing manufacturing back to Ontario in the news today, I got wondering what Canadian firearms manufacturers would be supporting.
We should be
supporting.
Right, there we go. That didn't sound right. I got wondering what Canadian firearms manufacturers we should be supporting. I mean, truly Canadian made, not imported and branded as Canadian. And that is a thing. He's not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
For my second question, are restricted firearm transfers still taking place in Canada? Is it a bad time to purchase a new restricted? So if you're purchasing from a store, you're fine. Purchasing from an individual, there's some snafus. The Canadian Firearms Centre is apparently open. The call center, the 1-800-731-4000, that's the Firearms Centre. That'll either get you to Ottawa or the Miramichi. But many provincial CFO's offices are closed. So when you initiate a transfer, you do it through the 800 number at the Firearms Centre, and they verify your licenses and whatnot. And then one of the last things they always say, at least to me during my calls, is we will now forward this to the CFO for final approval. Yeah. So if the CFO is closed, how can they do the final approval? So the whole thing's screwed up. Is it a bad time to purchase a restricted? It all depends. How quickly do you want it?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for the...
I was just going to say, they're still processing a few of them. They're just doing it really, really slowly. Mm-hmm. I do know that. Some of them some of the CFOs are working from home.
And I've talked to people who are getting transfers done. It's just they had to call in like 10 times before they got through.
Yeah.
And okay, so so your brother had a transfer go through, be completed, Kelly, during this time?
Yeah. So he bought a Glock 22 pistol.
Mm-hmm. And he got it.
Yep.
Excellent. Okay. So there you go. Transfers are happening.
Yeah. Still.
Thanks for the extra shows. I hope you keep them coming. By the way, I listened to episode number 1 the other day, and to answer Trevor's question, the best thing to shoot is fresh cow shit. Splatters all over the place, and it's always good for a laugh.
Fact.
Josh from Saskatchewan.
That's good, Josh.
Like original episode 1?
Probably.
That would have been Shooting the Breeze.
Yeah.
We changed the name, didn't have to.
Mm-hmm. Okay, go back to who should we be supporting?
KDEX, MDT. They're Canadian.
KDEX and MDT are truly good. Canadian. IBI is truly Canadian. Mm-hmm. Maple Ridge Armory is truly Canadian. Matador Arms is truly Canadian. I mean, there's some company, Maple Ridge, or not Maple Ridge, Alberta Tactical. Yep. You know, they turn blocks of aluminum into guns. Maccabee Defense, they turn blocks of aluminum into guns. So these are truly manufacturing companies. They're turning raw materials into finished Canadian-made products. Yep. So, but just because somebody is not doesn't mean I wouldn't necessarily support them either. Like I would still buy Chinese ammo from Canada Ammo. I would, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like Russian gas masks from Denis. I don't know.
Yeah, and if you can support more of the local gunny or gun retailer, do that. But you know, instead of like Cabela's or whatever. But Cabela's still there too. If you need to go.
Right.
But I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
Cabela's doesn't need your money so much as DC Armory does, and he
Correct.
ships, right?
Right.
He sold 7 pounds of Argot to a customer in Ontario. He sold, he goes to the post office every day or every other day. So you can't go to the shop right now. You can pay by credit card, process through the website, over the phone, EMTs. Whatever, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So cool.
Some of the other listeners, PGW.
Oh yeah.
ATRS. We said Prairie Gunworks.
Yep.
TNA, Calgary Shooting Center, of course. Come on. But he did say manufacturers. So we do have some Canadian manufacturers: MDT, Matador, IBI, Maple Ridge, Alberta Tactical, Maccabee Defense. These guys are turning raw material into finished product. So those are just a few. Apologize to anybody I missed. Not my area of expertise. I don't have an area of expertise. So, yeah.
All right. Kelly, do you want to take this one from James?
Okay, so do we want to... Who's laughing, by the way? Is that
Me,
you, Trevor?
of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
He has 3 emails, by the way.
All for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So it says, good luck. I need it. Anyways, March 24th. We already read parts of this, but I think we have to read the whole thing so that
I concur.
Okay. March 24th midweek podcast was a real doozy. I was working with Shure earphones in, listening to my 17th favorite podcast. Thank you, by the way, for, at least we're not 18th. Slamfire Radio. And oh boy, at the end of the podcast, I was ready for the world to end. My panic set in. Blood pressure up, check. Head running million miles a minute, check. Looking around and seeing normal looking people being sketchy like meth heads in downtown Miramichi, check. I was not prepared as well as I should be. Time to make a list of the 3 Gs: groceries, gears, and guns. I was concerned about Trevor's well-being, and I had no time to contact Trevor and ask how he's doing. Figured the RCMP would check on him soon enough, and I would hear about it on Slamfire's news section. Fast forward a week, off the rocker, on edibles, cursing and swearing on the podcast because he doesn't own a bike. Laugh my ass off, Frosty.
I was not on edibles on the podcast. When I'm on edibles, I'm on the couch, not on a podcast.
Yeah. Frosty, great job on the editing and the go button moment. Trevor, like all New Brunswickers, residents don't need a bike. They need a car to get groceries and anything. Everything 15 minutes with no traffic. I'm down to 7 with all the unnecessary people staying at home. That's his kids, by the way. It's freaking awesome. Wish people would stay home more often. When you arrive from out of province, the sign should read, Welcome to New Brunswick, where driving is a right, not a privilege. I live there, and it's true. You need a car everywhere. It's not like you're from the big city. Anyways, okay. I'm glad you're okay, Trevor, or are you? Dun, 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 dun. So that was basically him. I preface this question as asking for a friend. Question bug out options on AR-style assault rifles, firearms. Do you take? Okay, this is getting, I don't know. I'll have to.
Disjointed? Do your best, Kelly. Do your best.
Can do it 2 ways. Government gone chaos, or they think they are in power, but nobody is listening. And he says Syria. AR or non-restricted AR, 223, 308, or 300 blackout. Lengths and optics. Basically, I think he's asking us. So what's your guys' setup? What do you take and the reasons why? Do you want to answer that now, or do you want me to just...
No, let's do it now.
Yeah.
So, again, the question was dependent upon the without rule of law scenario?
Yeah, basically, government is just gone. It's chaos, mass hysteria, no rules, no nothing.
How many am I allowed to take, Kelly?
Or people are not listening, and it's like Syria said. You can take whatever
one.
the heck you want.
Make it one because it's going to be a choice.
AR-10.
I'll go AR-15.
I do AR-15 too.
AR-15. Because I can carry more ammo, and it'll do a deer. And I have more mags.
Yep.
That's lighter. I think it's lighter. I don't know. I should weigh mine. Mine's probably heavier, actually.
What do you have? What do you have on your AR-10?
I have a 19-inch. It's a Viper PST Gen 2 5-25 first focal plane illuminated reticle. Up close, a little sketchy, but I don't want anybody to be close to me.
No. But you still hit them if they're up close. So just
10 rounds is 10 rounds.
Yeah.
I don't have a ton of mags, but like my AR-15, they're all 10-round mags. Actually, I don't have any 5-round pin mags for this. I have plenty of 5-round pin mags for my AR-15s.
You also don't have a chest rig that'll work with your AR-10 because the mags are too
right,
big.
I don't. This is why I want to take 2 guns. I want an AR-15. There it is. Screw you. It's like 5 guns. Dude, I got a Glock 17 on my hip.
Mm-hmm.
I got an FX9 that uses what? Glock mags. Same ammo as the Glock 17. You see a little on here? Yeah. Right? Then I want the AR-10 that I'm building, or the AR-15 rather than I'm building. Actually, no, I think I would go with my modern sporter because of the optic and the lightweight. So I've got the AR-10, the modern sporter, the FX9, and the Glock. Oh, and my 590A1. Those would be the last guns I ever get rid of.
That's a lot. I would just take this one right here, and I'd be done.
Different guns for different jobs, though.
No,
yeah, you're right.
Use that one for everything.
So
whatever you can do with an AR-15, you can do with an AR-10. Only better.
Heavier, less ammo, no vest for it.
Just AR-15, 1022 for like rabbits, whatever. No, I'm serious. Just
takedown 22. A takedown 22 would be nice because that you can back.
12 gauge, 12 gauge because you can shoot everything from rabbits to moose.
Okay.
One platform, different ammo. Only downside, slow load. Shotguns are so versatile.
And shells are so bulky.
Yeah,
I know, but what am I alone walking through the desert here? Am I on Walking Dead? All right, fine, AR-15, or even sub 2000 with real ammo. Not sub 2000. Oh my God, bite my tongue. FX9.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
All right. Adriel, let's compare 308 to 6.5. And now, say it with me. It's quantity, not quality. One more time. Adriel, you have the show notes, so you have to say it with me. Quantity, not quality. Case in point, the Mach 31 Trevor Skippy sub MOA steps to make more ammunition for just in case. Okay, can you explain that? What does that mean?
Trevor was skipping some of his steps because he was mentioning it on one of the last podcasts. He's reloading, but he's not uniform with primer of holes. He's just
right. Okay, so Trevor, skipped. Anyways, yes. Okay, I got it. Grammar, because grammar.
When he listens to us read, does he just sit back with his feet up and a beer and laugh his ass off?
That's why he said good luck. All right. Plus 6.5, Creedmoor is not a real caliber. A couple of boxes at Cabela's does not make a real caliber, Frosty. He says decisions need to be made, and I will listen to your answers and probably discard them. This is true. Question, he says, how do you communicate after the shit hits the fan if the cell phone communication is gone back to the old smoke signals? And that's actually a really good question.
You know, a lot of people are signing up for online shortwave radio courses and ham radio licenses.
Yeah, they are.
Mini-Me just did.
Yep. All right. And it's actually true. I've been hearing that too. Okay, so I can see showing up at Trevor's Feral Fortress and probably going to get shot, he said. He will use the 3 S's on me. Shoot, shovel, and shut up. Write that down, by the way. Thanks.
There is actually a code for approaching my place during a without rule of law to ensure you don't get shot. McClatchy knows it. We were having a conversation the other night. If he has to, he's going to bug out here.
Yeah.
And he immediately said, and I will do this upon approach. I'm like, oh, dude, you remembered. Good for you.
I brought the scotch.
Yeah, you're in.
Yep. The Cubans, the ammo, and the scotch.
I have cigars and scotch. Let me in.
I smoked my last cigar today. It was a Cuban from Muffin, and yeah. So now I don't care, even if you have a you have a temperature. I don't care. You can come in with cigars.
All right. It says, P.S. Check out the Quick Dick McDick on YouTube, a Saskatchewan farmer that will give you a toonie's worth of advice because 2 cents does not really go that far today. And look up the difference between Saskatchewan Yank and the Saskatchewan Tug. Cheers, James B.
Risky
All
click.
Not going to
Very
look up any of those things.
No, we're not going to do that. So email number 2, it says, I found the episode that Matthew told us that he wanted to quit. That's quit, by the way. And it's all your fault, Trevor. Within the first 2 minutes, you start him down the path. Shame on you. It's episode Armed and Responsible.
Reasonable.
I think this reasonable. Sorry, 185, and he signs off by saying "boo ga loo glue
Boo glue.
Boo
glue.
glue."
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we should go back and listen to that one. 185. That was a long time ago. I don't even think Adriel and I were on the show, were we?
I might have been.
380. We're at 3. I don't know what we're at now.
What does time mean?
349.
Yeah, email. Number 3, listening to old episodes. Holy crap, he has nothing to do really, does he? Okay. Listening to old episodes, and you really need to get Ken Nelson back on to talk about the hard as hell. Thanks. Trevor, tell me the story with Matt about that you had pictures. Okay. Trevor, tell me the story with Matt.
Oh, man.
That you had pictures and notes on the front veranda from a stalker. Oh,
all right.
Okay.
So Matt got a new cell phone number.
Okay.
And he sent me a text and wouldn't tell me who it was. And he started to act stalkerish, and I think may have said he was a listener of the show. And then he recruited Christina.
Oh, God.
And Christina started leaving notes in my mailbox from the stalker. So then I get a text from Matthew going, "Did you like my note?" Not knowing it was Matthew. At that point, I'm like, oh, stay strapped or get clapped. What's going on? Damn. Yeah.
Okay. So before we go any further, Russ, he says, if the government goes for hell, who is going to keep pins in their mags? Because somebody said, are we fine?
Everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone, because the law is still the law, even when the government folds.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, that's it for James. James, thank you for all the emails.
Cool.
We'll go back and listen to 185.
Trevor, do you want to take this one from Nathan?
From Nathan. Hey guys, been listening to the show for a while now and love it. It's nice to have a show from Canadians giving their perspective. I just have a couple of questions for you guys. First things first, with the you with the 92X performance out, you guys said,
just paraphrase it. Paraphrase.
Yeah.
Can we try and edit these before we copy and paste them? That's what we used to do in CRR. No, it's funnier this way.
Okay.
All right. First things first. With the 92X performance out, you guys said you still said you wouldn't use a Beretta for competition, and right. I would like to know how come there have been some amazing shooters who have been using Berettas for competition for years, and for good reason. They're very accurate, they're reliable, and they're a nice soft shooting gun. So why wouldn't you use a Beretta? Or if you had to, what would you do to it to make it better? All right, so some of the pro shooters are using it because they're getting paid. So there's that.
And you could stick anything in their hands and they would probably do awesome.
Right. Why wouldn't I use it? Because for production, you're taking a duty gun, you're taking an F-150 and trying to turn it into Dale Earnhardt's NASCAR race car. Or you could just go buy Jeff Gordon's race car.
Right.
Yeah, it's a duty gun that they're trying to turn into a race gun. They're factory-made race guns. That's why I wouldn't use it.
I think the Berettas are just too expensive.
Okay,
if I can get a Shadow 2 for $1,200 new, why would I pay $2,000 for a Beretta 92X?
Excellent point. They've done a lot. So what would I do if I did shoot one? Well, I would replace the springs to give it a better trigger pull, and I would do all the changes to the sights and ergonomics that they have done. But it would still have yes, it's accurate. Yes, it's reliable. And I want those things
reliable and accurate enough, though.
Right. I want reliability and I want accurate in a duty gun. It's got an aluminum frame, so it's light, so it's not the worst thing in the world to have to carry all day. Great carry gun. I would carry one. I'd carry the hell out of one. I have no problem carrying a Beretta. But for competition, I wouldn't use it because there are better alternatives for less money. Second question. I live in the southern Ontario, and for deer season, we're only allowed to use shotgun. So I was kind of looking at getting a bolt-action shotgun. I heard that they are more accurate and can shoot further. Both wrong. So the accuracy has nothing to do with the action. The how far they can shoot has to do with the type of ammunition that you select. So I was wondering if you guys know if this is true. No, it's not. If there are any advantages to a bolt over a pump. No, none. The bolt is the slowest, awkwardest moving shotgun. The only advantage, if there is one, is if your bolt has a detachable magazine and you carry extra magazines on you and you do mag changes rather than filling a tube. Any thanks for answering my questions and keep up the great work. You guys have any comments on the bolt action versus anything else?
I'm trying to think. I don't have that. There's no such law like that in Alberta here, so I don't look at it. When I see
for deer season,
when I see people running rifled barrels with sabot slugs and that kind of thing in a shotgun, I kind of think to myself, this is just a workaround for some stupid government law that shouldn't be there. Because realistically, just let people run 4570s and 308s and whatever, and those are all ballistically superior to stupid.
I don't know what because deer season here you can actually use a rifle, so I don't know.
It depends on what part of the province you're in, and sometimes there's muzzle loader only, there's shotgun.
Well, it depends. So it depends on the time of the year that he's
and where you are.
We have crossbow season here, we have muzzle loader, and but we do have a rifle season. So I'm kind of going.
Maybe
there's a shotgun only portion of the season.
Right. So it'd be interesting to see where he is because I'm in southern Ontario as well. So,
important part here is that a bolt action shotgun is not a thing you want to do.
Right.
Not to mention the fact that I don't know if anybody's currently producing one, so you're going to be buying an old worn out Mossberg.
So there you go.
Savage had a bolt action too, right?
Did they?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. No, I would stay away from it. So poor choice in guns and shotguns, Nathan. But thanks for writing anyway, buddy.
Let us know where you are.
Means Adriel has Spencers.
Yes, I did that on purpose.
Yay! Yes, too, by the way.
Yeah. I don't know if any of you have invested in a Berkey water filter system, but when it comes to having large amounts of clean, safe water available in your house, they are hard to beat. They kind of look like a big silver coffee urns you would see at church socials and such as a kid. They have two sections, although you only split them for cleaning. The bottom part has a spigot and holds purified water. The top part is where you pour the unfiltered water in. They use big ceramic-looking filters, which are expensive but last for years. I've had my unit for over a decade and only swapped the filters once, and even then I just cleaned the old ones and stored them as backups. The systems come in a bunch of sizes, from 2 gallons to 6 or so, but they all use the same filter elements. My unit can have 2 or 4 filters depending on the flow rate you're trying to maintain. I've had mine for about 10 years now, and I use it every day for my drinking water. It just sits next to the sink, and I keep it filled with a sprayer hose. In an emergency, I could also put the pure unfiltered water from the pond down the street through it and just get just as good as water. That would clog the filters faster, though, unless I pre-filtered it through cheesecloth or coffee filters. I do have some water storage, so I probably should use that first before heading down to the pond with a bucket, but it works that well. Anything that filtered through it would be safe to drink. That's it for now. Hope everyone is well, Spencer. P.S. We need to have Owen back on. I bet Comfrey cures coronavirus. Number 2. Hey guys, hope you're all well. The last few episodes you guys were talking about PC games, and I really had to I had to put my 2 cents in. From what I'm hearing, Adriel seems to game like a 14-year-old, running around a shared battlefield like a loon, shooting Russian 12-year-olds in the face. Yeah. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's hardly the peak of PC gaming experience. I have 2 games for you that are both apocalypse themed and require thought and skill, not just the reflexes of a tween. The first one is probably my favorite game of all time, Fallout New Vegas. The whole Fallout franchise is set in a sort of alternative history version of the world that looks like what you'd see in 1950s science fiction magazine. It's set in the western United States, and while the graphics are kind of dated now, it captures that feel. It incorporates a lot of real places in Utah, Nevada, and Arizona, and is an open world game, which means you can go in any direction you want to on a map just about any time. The thing I like about Fallout New Vegas is that the devs really got into their guns. Sure, they have some made-up energy weapons, but the bread and butter really is the firearms. Everything from 1911s and Thompson submachine guns to AR-15s and M1 Garands. Almost every gun has different modifications you can make, like adding scopes, suppressors, improved triggers, etc. And if that wasn't enough, there's a full suite of reloading available, allowing you to make custom ammunition with different properties. The storyline's good, although certainly not Dickens. The quests are fun, and the characters that you can recruit as companions are all very well done. And because it's been around for a while, there are a bunch of excellent mods for it that can really improve the game a lot. The second game I can recommend is The Long Dark. This is a Canadian game set in Adriel's neck of the woods, it seems. They don't actually say, but it seems west and north. In the sandbox mode, you're basically just trying to survive after your plane goes down due to a freak electrical event of some kind. You're completely alone except for wolves, bears, rabbits, and assorted other wildlife. You constantly run across deserted cabins, camps, or even whole towns. You have to maintain your calories, your water, your body temp, all the while trying to set up shelters and amass enough supplies to not starve or freeze or die from disease. Again, the graphics aren't anything to write home about, but they work fine, and the sound design is incredible. It's completely immersive, and you really do feel like you're out in the woods or trudging across a frozen marsh. There's also a story mode that they added in a year or 2 back and is constantly evolving, but the real game is simply trying to survive. The first time you almost die in a blizzard, but you will feel amazing. Managed to make it, maybe. One note, though, when you die in this game, it's over. You start over all again from scratch. That's not as bad as it sounds, just because, like any newbie trapped out in the Arctic without supplies, tools, or even decent clothes, you'll die a lot in the beginning. When you finally get to the point when you can have a permanent shelter, a stock of food and water, and your trusty Enfield, you will feel like you accomplished something. And you did. So rather than spending your first pandemic getting domed by rabid 12-year-olds from foreign places, spend some time in either post-apocalypse Las Vegas or post-rapture Canada. Trust me, you'll have a lot more fun. Spencer. P.S. Trevor, drones are cool. RC cars? Really?
Sorry,
Yes,
Trevor,
really.
drones are cool. RC cars, really? Yes. Really?
Drones are cool.
I would put
They are
both of
cool.
them in the same category. Drones and RC, they're all remote control, electronic, drive them around kind of things, right?
Yes, that's exactly how it works.
That's called remote control.
That's the RC part, yeah.
What happens if shit hits the fan and all radio? Like, we're not having any cell phone.
Oh.
What happens with
Cards, puzzles, 1,000-piece puzzles, crack them out. If you'd like to email the show, and send an email to slamfireradio@gmail.com. Podcast app reviews, we don't have any new one of those, but if you'd like to, head on over to your podcast app of choice and give us a review there. Helps the show get found. Patreon supporters, if you'd like to help support the show and help us get more shows out to you, head on over to patreon.com/slamfireradio, or you can hit the link up on our website and help us out with funding for the show, and we'll use it for cameras and microphones and that kind of stuff. You can also help support the show by visiting our website and clicking on the links to Cabela's from there if you're going to buy from Cabela's, which has curbside pickup right now. So if you wanted to buy some stuff online, get a shopping cart of essential goods, and then head to Cabela's. They'll just put it in the trunk of your car for you. Sweet. Shoutouts. Trevor?
Yeah, it's Reed's birthday. Reed is a Ipswich, New Brunswick fellow shooter and listener of Slamfire, and it's his birthday, so happy birthday, big guy.
There you go.
Happy birthday.
Kelly?
Happy birthday. Nope. I don't really think so. I don't know. Adriel, I'm giving a shout out to Adriel because you've been fantastic, and Ryan as well, and Darren, all of our senior instructors. Just give you guys a shout out because you guys have been really helpful and fantastic. Thank you.
Awesome. Finally, please join one of our national firearms associations, such as the CCFR. Check us out on Gun Owners of Canada. Like us on Facebook, and we'll see you on Saturday.
Saturday.
Yay!
For another special coronavirus minicast.
Microcast. Well, you have to make up names for things before they're called microcasts.
Microcast. Thanks for watching.
Choking like it's prom night.
So if you have any comments or questions for the show, please send an email to slamfireradio@gmail.com. Now go grab a gun and shoot something.
When the talking is over, it's time to get a gun.